Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
An amazing streak continues on the wrestling mat, and we're less than a week away from the start of a revamped hockey tournament. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. The MHSAA Ice Hockey Tournament bracket is set, and you'll notice some changes from last year's bracket. This year, the entire tournament is seeded using MPR. Each of the 3 divisions contains 8 regions with up to 8 teams in a region. The highest seeded team in a region will play the lowest seeded team, and so on. Last year, only the top 2 teams in each region were seeded. Also new this year, the teams will be reseeded following the quarterfinals. The Ice Hockey Seeding Committee will take all 4 semifinalist teams and reseed them 1 through 4. The 1 seed will play the 4, the 2 seed will play the 3, with the winners meeting in the finals. Last year, there was no reseeding at the semifinal level. The way divisions are broken up this year is also new. Standalone and co-op programs will be rank ordered by enrollment, but on separate lists. The top 1/3 from each list will make up Division 1, the middle third from each will be Division 2, and the bottom third from each list will comprise Division 3. This change is expected to rebalance the divisions, as Division 1 had been primarily made up of co-op teams in the past. Staying the same from past years, a coin flip will determine the home team for each game. The first regional games will drop the puck on February 20th. The semifinals are March 9th and 10th, with the finals on Saturday, March 11th. All of the semifinals and finals action from USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth will be available on the NFHS Network and the MHSAA Championship Radio Network. For brackets, scores, and more, be sure to check out MHSAA.com. Game balls this week go to Davison's Greg Lawson. The sophomore tallied a triple-double, 32 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds, and a 5-overtime win over Flint Hamady. The 94-90 victory came in the Cardinal Classic Final. To the Gibraltar Carlson competitive cheer team, who knocked off 3-time reigning Division II state champion Allen Park on way to the championship of the 37 in a row by knocking off Grand Ledge in the finals. The last time Holt failed to win a wrestling district title, 1986, when That's What Friends Are For was the #1 song.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with registered official Paige Winnie.
We are in the pool today, nearing the end of our 100-yard freestyle race. To finish a race and record a time, a swimmer can either touch the touchpad or the finish end, i.e. the wall around the touchpad. If the touchpad is contacted in a time recorded, great, that's all the officials need. But what happens if I hit the touchpad and the time doesn't stop? Or if I touch the wall just above the touchpad? In these instances, the officials go to a backup timer, and the backup timer for that swimmer will be used as their race time. The backup timer operates for all races, but is only used in the event of a touchpad malfunction or a swimmer hitting the finish end. A majority of the time, it's not even needed, but it's good to have for instances like these.
Thanks, Paige. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. If you aren't following the MHSAA on social media, what are you waiting for? It's a great way to keep up with everything going on at the MHSAA. Looking for tournament updates, event announcements, or links to stories? Then check out our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Instagram and TikTok is where you will find our weekly Performance of the Week feature and other behind-the-scenes content. YouTube has tons of historic MHSAA finals archived. Look for classic matchups and rewatch some great games. MHSAA social media is the best way to connect with us every day. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. With winter tournaments just getting started, you don't want to miss a thing. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
To head over the timeline to Gable. Gable strikes to the basket, elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryan, Vanderjack up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point, throws him up. Innocent space. Shot scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line, giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. And hello everyone, and welcome to Grand Haven, and welcome to Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you here on MGN. Welcome courtside. And it is another OK Red doubleheader, and once again, it's a doubleheader with plenty at stake here tonight. Tuesday night, we were in Hudsonville with the boys matchup, which was an absolute thriller, a 1-point tough loss for the Bulldogs in that one. But now we're back at it, and it's going to be a good doubleheader in general. The girls, last time in this matchup, went to overtime. They played some tough games. By the way, the Grandville girls kept it close with Hudsonville again on Tuesday night, so they're ready to roll. And we know the boys' game is going to be one of the games of the year every single time these two teams play. When's the last time Grandville and Grand Haven didn't play a good boys' basketball game? I don't know if I can think of one since we started doing this like 6 years ago. It's been that impressive. But CT, we start on this girls' side, like I said. Overtime last time, going to be a really good one tonight to open the night.
Yeah, going to be a good matchup between two teams that went at it and played a very close game the first time around. The Bulldogs playing one of their best games that you can say in a loss, even though fighting into overtime there, but put together a pretty complete game. Got a win in the conference against Caledonia. Following that, have been playing good. As you mentioned, that the loss against Hudsonville, another close game. So Bulldogs feeling like they're right there in a lot of close games against some really good teams, looking to get into the win column. And, of course, this Grand Haven team right around 500 in the conference. Good team as well that has some impressive wins on the season so far.
Yeah, and just radio coverage regardless tonight, wherever you may be trying to tune in, just with kind of the streaming rules of the MHSA and so forth. Radio only here at Grand Haven tonight, so I would say you might as well. We have maroon shirts even now, so you might as well listen to the Grandville hometown feed that's been with the Bulldogs all season long. Will continue to be so, moving into a really big week next week. And we're going to open up our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show coverage with a look at this. Now you don't have to look at our face, so everyone will love that. Next week, big week on MGN. We're actually kind of announcing now we are going to be Tuesday, first off, at least I will be, at the hockey regional quarterfinal. Bulldogs win on Tuesday. Saturday, we'll be back at Southside Ice Arena for the hockey regional semifinal. Again, Grandville this year moving back down into Division III, so they are in kind of good position for a team that in Division I went all the way to the Frozen Four last year. In good position to try to make another run this year. Likely we'll be running into, we'll see Catholic Central's the host. That might be the finals matchup middle of next week. So keep an eye on that. But finally we get our hockey night on MGN coverage jump-started and faced off on Tuesday night. So we will not, therefore, be at the Jenison game on the road. That's a game, I think, for Grandville Faithful they're probably hoping is not going to be a game worth anything. But Jenison played them close. They've beaten some other people, so maybe we'll make the wrong decision. But it's playoffs, and we are right on the doorstep of March on MGN, starting off in that regard. All right, we're going to quick step aside. When we come back, mention that great game on Tuesday night. We're going to take a look back to Tuesday night. We had video coverage thanks to Hudsonville, partnered with them on their Huddle Cam, and we'll play back highlights of that 49-48 thriller. On the boys' side, we had coverage of Tuesday night, and the girls' game about 15 minutes away, as you can see from getting underway here tonight at Grand Haven.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
This jump. Ball's up and away we go, and Hudsonville takes the first possession of the game. Gibson Heathheist, the 5'10 senior guard, will run the offense first. It's a handoff for Shamray, and there's that matchup. Man versus Shamray to open up the game here. Jonah Dennis in the OK Red, a four-way tie coming in tonight. Hudsonville forces a turnover. Fed down the floor to Shamray one-on-one. He's able to reach around Hendrickson, and Shamray gets on the board first for the Eagles with 6:13 in the first.
Yeah, Hendrickson just trying to quickly force that pass in, trying to catch the defense, relaxed a little bit, but still there. The Eagles able to get the turnover.
Shamray in the corner, buries it. 5 for Shamray off a nice feed from Vanderveen, and the Eagles lead by 6 with 2 in the first. Eagles go to a swinging matchup zone look. The Bulldogs beat it down to Terry, who scores. Hudsonville switches up their defense. The Bulldogs beat it. It's a 10-5 game. Kick to Shamray. Tough one from the junior. Got it again. 11 for Shamray. Kind of taking things over right now. 22-16.
A couple quick buckets for Shamray, junior for the Bulldogs.
And again, Vanderveen, not many times your tallest guy, your center, also maybe the fastest and most athletic on your team. And we, of course, know that. Hope College bound receiver. Drive from Jonah Dennis, able to reach again. 8 for Dennis. Very unhappy. Coach Young will call a timeout. And the Bulldogs trail 30-18. Play back to man in the corner. McFall closing. Tyson drives around, finger roll. 34-31. We will be right back and playing for this system. Well, Shamray did it, and he'll hit another 3. Right on cue with that one. He has 16. Grandville took the first meeting at Vanderslice Gymnasium between these two. Man, the 3 got the friendly rattle.
At the top of the key, the defense laxing just a little bit, and man able to get some separation and hit the 3.
Here is Shamray on the drive.
Jerry opened the...
Right back and playing for this system. Well, Shamray did it, and he'll hit another 3. Right on rattle.
At the top of the key, the defense laxing just a little bit, and man able to get some separation and hit the 3.
Here is Shamray on the drive. By Heathheist for Haight. Tyson again to tie the game. Got it! Tyson Mann from 3 on the move. Knotted at 41. 22 for Tyson.
A couple big 3s in the fourth quarter from Tyson Mann there. Just a little separation off the screen and another big 3.
Shamray defended by Ryder Haight. Shamray to take the lead back. He hits it. Shamray answering. He has 20. And the Eagles go back on top with 118.
I got a feeling the rest of this game might just be Tyson Mann and Braden Shamray exchanging shots back and forth, whoever gets the last chance.
Here's Hendrickson for Man in the corner, defended by Dennis. Man stopped. Ryder Haight. 101 and inside the final minute. Hudsonville by 2. The Eagles lost by 1 on their home floor Friday. Stolen by Dykstra. To the rack, he scores. Dykstra, maybe the play of the game. The Bulldogs trying to push it to Ragnaris. He can't hang on to it. They get working a little too quickly. They had the look, though. 45-41. It's a 4-point game with 46 seconds. Pressured by Man in the backcourt. Ran hard into Hendrickson. They go face into face. Sorry, it's Ryder Haight down, not Hendrickson. Some blood as well from the face of Ryder Hayes, who's going to work on coming back up. That's a big collision that he took right there as the trainers are going to come out and help him out. By Regneris. Hendrickson launching a three, banks it in, and one. 5 for Hendrickson, chance for one more.
Able to pull up, hit the three through the contact, through his arms.
He got it. The lead is 3, and a timeout is called.
They're kind of accepting that was going to be called, and Shemery, not a guy you want at the free throw line, but not taking any time off the clock to do so.
He missed the first. He makes 1 of 2, and it's a 2-score game. 7.8 on the clock. That was foul 2 on Tyson Mann. Got the second. Huge free throw for Shemery. He has 21 points. Tyson Mann pushing with 6. Mann, pull up 3 to come within 1. He got it. And the clock will run out as Hudsonville was able to take their time on the inbound. So Mann heaves it at the buzzer, but just not enough time as the clock runs out and Hudsonville hangs on for a huge win. The Eagles lost by 1 in this building on Friday to Rockford. Now they come back and they win by 1 in a true thriller. And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you courtside here at Grand Haven. This is the Scout Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show, just under 8 minutes away from tipping off our girls game and starting our coverage. It's Grandville and Grand Haven tonight. Again, last time, a game that went to overtime between these two CT. And it is the idea of a close game, looking at how it was played last time, that I think is the first talking point I somewhat want to get into, because it was, for the most part, a very slow, more half-court game. There were times where you saw Grandville in particular maybe up the pace, force some turnovers, play a more full-court game, and they used that to some success. But for the most part, a game where both teams seem pretty comfortable to be slow, controlled in their pace, and likely, I think, might see that again because it was effective the first time.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs have some half-court zone. When you know you've got multiple different looks that a defense can throw at you, it can slow the game down when you're having to really run your offense and kind of set stuff up.
Yeah, and two teams that they kind of match up in somewhat similar ways, but there are matchups that each are looking to expose. First off, Grandville, I think you look at the athleticism, the full-court defense of the guards, Rakowski, McKellar, the way they like to play. Grand Haven with, good wing scoring, great guards, well. I mean, Jillian Sorrell, the sophomore, runs a very good point, but I think Grand Haven looking maybe more the wing scoring, the forward scoring, versus Grandville very much focused in the backcourt with, of course,
transition that allows them to operate. Of course, the players they mentioned, Gregor and Highbor, both provide an inside presence that they can get the basketball down to and have some effect on the glass as well. But I think when you look at Grand Haven, they've got multiple players that can shoot from the wings as well, some players that can knock down some shots. They've got multiple scoring threats at that level, that once they get into their offense, they can move the basketball around and have multiple players that can attack.
Point guard matchup, very fascinating one. We obviously just touched on some of those names, but Olivia McKellar for the Bulldogs, of course, Rakowski runs the point some as well, but focusing on McKellar, the senior guard, first, along with Sorrell, the sophomore for Grand Haven. I think that's one of the fascinating matchups. Yes, we can talk about the forwards, and we can talk about maybe units of guards versus units of guards and units of forwards versus units of forwards, but that one-on-one matchup, sophomore guard Sorrell, very talented, has the size advantage on McKellar as well, versus the senior experience, the 4-year senior experience of Olivia McKellar. It was fascinating last time. It's fascinating to see again tonight.
Yeah, McKellar for years has been drawing some very difficult matchups when you're talking about point guards here in the OK Red. But now as a senior, she's had that experience, has some tremendous moments as a Bulldog, and now getting a matchup against a younger player who has a lot of potential and a lot of talent that you know is going to be great for a couple years. But for right now, you've got that experience over a player like Sorrell. So those two, we'll see how much they're checking each other one-on-one, but the playmaking ability of each of those two going back and forth on the offensive and defensive ends.
All right, we're going to step aside one more time here in the Bates Agency pregame show. When we come back, we'll get into some of those keys of the games, and we've got basketball. Grandville, Grand Haven doubleheader on deck here tonight.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't
rather than just always relying on one player.
Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show continues here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest is break me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season. And we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game. Yeah, driver. Hi, I'm Chandler too.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye. And Cam Regnerus has scoring report for the Panthers. 4 points thrown. But regardless, a tough back. Haven keeping it slower. That's really the first talking point of the day.
Yeah, I think we'll see pretty quickly where these two teams are going to try to figure things out. Of course, the second matchup now between these two, so you've seen it play out on the floor one time. The adjustments coming into this one, if the Bulldogs are able to get in some of their full court looks, speed things up a little bit, or if Grand Haven's going to use their size a little bit more, some of that wing scoring, and get a little bit more to the half court to attack.
All right, let's go to the anthem. That'll do it for the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. We will be right back.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it, and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to tonight's girls varsity basketball contest between the Bulldogs of Grandville High School and your hosts, the Grand Haven Buccaneers. And before we begin tonight's game, I'd like to draw your attention to our officials. We're grateful to have a fantastic crew, and the opportunity to play this game is only made possible by their commitment commitment to high school sports and to our student athletes. We appreciate their efforts and they deserve our respect. So let's have a round of applause for Mr. Michael Lundgren, Mr. Joel Olson, and Mr. Todd Fox. And now fans, please stand and remove your hats for the playing and singing of our national anthem. And veterans, the flag law gives you the opportunity to render the hand salute during the presentation of our country's colors. And Grand Haven High School and the OK Conference would be honored to have you do so. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
All right, welcome back. Time to roll here at Grand Haven and the Fieldhouse here at Grand Haven High School. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you. Radio coverage here tonight. And we are ready to roll with the doubleheader. Grandville coming in under head coach Lindsey Karpowitz. 8-11 on the year, 1-10 within the OK Red. Of course, remember, went to overtime last time, though, against this Grand Haven team. Bulldogs in the traveling maroon uniforms, and will be rolling out the junior guard Gracie Rakowski in the backcourt alongside senior guards Olivia McKellar and Anaya Fisher. Up front for the Bulldogs, they'll have the 5'9 junior wing Tessa Gregoire and the senior center Sydney Hybor gets the start. Katie Kwalchek-Fulmer, the head coach of the Grand Haven Buccaneers, 11-7 on the year and 6. This one, Jillian Sorrell, the sophomore guard, starts in the backcourt alongside the senior guard Grace Harrison and the junior guard Emerson Berndt. And up front, they'll have the senior forward Heidi Berkey and the junior forward Maddie Schopp gets the start for the Buccaneers. Grand Haven in the home white jerseys, numbers, lettering in blue, trimmed in gold, blue and gold trimming down the side. The Bulldogs, as I mentioned, the left to right across your radio dial, Grand Haven, your logo at center floor, lights back on, and we're ready for the jump in just a moment. All right, CT, 8 minutes up on Berkey, the jump on Hybor. We're up and we're away. It's forced into the front court off the foot of Hybor and controlled by Grace Harrison, the senior guard. Sorrell, dump pass, trying to find Schopp. Schopp is able to gather through a couple of Bulldogs, flick one at the bottom of the basket that is tipped out of bounds and last touched by the Buccaneers. The Bulldogs get their first offensive possession underway here. 7:40 to go in the first. Left to right, it will be Gracie Rakowski running the Bulldogs offense. Number 3 in maroon, met up top by Jillian Sorrell. Handoff, top of the key for McKellar, swung to Fisher. Back McKellar, right wing with an underhand feed onto the Buccaneer logo in front of center court. Onto a right-hand dribble for Anaya Fisher. Fisher working right side, defended by Berkey at the perimeter. Gives in between the rings to McKellar. McKellar drives down the left side of the lane, whips up a wild left-hand shot. Got the friendly rattle off the glass, and the Bulldogs with their early 2-0 lead. And Grandville goes to a three-quarter up top that's jumped and stolen away by McKellar, who will weave through near 6.5. Barron throws right side, tipped and stolen by Rakowski. Rakowski one-on-one to the rack, left-hand shot, blocked away by Barron down low. It stays with the Bulldogs, baseline left, but another steal forced by the active Bulldog defense.
Yeah, another opportunity. Rakowski out in the open floor, but good defense from Berndt in transition, able to get a piece of that one and get her defense set.
Rakowski, two-hand overhead feed, hits the cutting, Hybor, and Hybor lays it off the window with two hands. Again, the Bulldogs set up a 2-2-1 three-quarter court trap, thrown over the timeline to a leaping Heidi Berkey. Berkey, left corner for Grace Harrison. It's over down the left side. Figures it out, left corner for Harrison. Harrison, catch and shoot three, got a friendly touch and falls, and the Buccaneers on the board, 4-3 Bulldogs. Feed to Hybor, right-hand hook shot, strong, grabs her own rebound, and has it touched out to the top of the key where off the floor it's secured by Anaya Fisher, who will back it out. Screen from Gregor left wing. Fisher throws with one hand to the right wing to Olivia McKellar. McKellar will hold there against man-to-man defensive pressure and start the dribble. Bouncing into the lane, throws left corner. Catch and shoot three, Rakowski. Off the front rim, no. Rebound down to Burnt. She's going to run it up the right side of the floor. Push pass over the timeline, evades Maddie Shop, out of bounds, and it's Bulldog basketball. It's going to stay with Grand Haven, left side in front of the Bulldog bench.
Buccaneers trying to make that long pass down the floor, avoiding the Bulldogs getting their zone defense set up. It did look like Hybor got just a piece of that one as that pass going across the half court.
Bulldogs into the zone again. 3 minutes gone in the first. They lead by one. Left side, here's Burnt, jabs, angling past Gregor, went to a spin move, and she's tied up.
We're doing some really good work where she was able to get in there, tie that basketball up.
Free throw line, skips it right wing to a driving Rakowski, who's bumped into by Harrison, and a foul called. That's the first on Harrison, and our first foul on either team in the game. 4:40 to go in the first, 4-3 Grandville. Baseline right inbound coming up for Gracie Rakowski. Kendall Wojtaszek, the senior center, will check in here from Maddie Shop as we have our first substitution of the game. Rakowski stands on the A in Haven of Grand Haven on the right side of the floor. Lobs one that's tipped away by Burnt and rattles on to Jillian Sorrell for the steal off the inbound. The Buccaneers right to left will now slow it down and start the possession with Sorrell. Jumps against the zone, pass left side for Burnt. Into the paint for Wojtaszek. Two-hand feed, right corner. Catch and shoot three. Harrison off the front rim, no. Rebound saved in front of the end line by Rakowski, who up the right side of the floor will settle it down here for the Bulldogs. 4:17 in the first, 4-3 Grandville.
Buccaneers able to get some good ball movement against the zone of the Bulldogs. Get the zone shifting one way, swing it back the other way for an open three.
Fisher lobbing for Hybor out of her reach, out of bounds, and Grand Haven takes over once more. Bulldogs make their first substitution of the game. Emma Perez will check in here for Hybor. The Bulldogs will go quite a bit smaller, and they will go to the three-quarter court trap right here. Slowly in the and curls top of the key. Skip past Burnt left wing. Up fake. Dribble drive. Cut off left block. And curls top of the key. Skip past Burnt left wing. Up fake. Dribble drive. Cut off left block. Reaching escape pass is run to and saved by Harrison. Harrison tries to force feed the paint. Tipped out of bounds by the Bulldogs and stays with Grand Haven. Active defense again that possession from the Bulldogs.
Able to move their feet, and that zone defense really cutting off those driving lanes, not allowing the Buccaneers, even though they're putting the ball on the floor, to drive into the paint.
Harrison lobs to the free throw line to Wojtaszek. Right corner for Sorrell. The sophomore drives, feeds up top to a leaping Harrison. Left side, catch and shoot three. Burnt is good.
Trying to shoot over top of the zone, able to hit their second one there. All the scoring coming on 2 3-point shots for the Buccaneers early.
Feed to Gregor, short right corner, dumps down to the right block for Rakowski. Settle down out of the pressure. She'll curl out from behind the three-point arc. Kicks in between the rings to McKellar. Slowly working right side. Dump pass, bursting over the timeline, and will set up the offense here. Bulldogs pull out of that extended 2-3 trapping zone. Jump pass right side to Burnt. She'll step into another triple. Off the back iron, no. Rebound ripped down by Gregor and the Bulldogs, and again, Rakowski will slow it down. Both teams very content to run the half-court game right now. 2.5 in the first, 6-4 Grand Haven. Rakowski, step back three off the front rim, rattles out. Sorrell, a leaping rebound. She'll run it up the right side of the floor, a little bit more pace. Throws it down, left block. Berkey cutting to the basket, and Berkey able to score. As we just talked about the full court, the half-court offense. There, Grand Haven leaking with Berkey behind the defense for an easy two. It's an 8-4 game.
Yeah, the Bulldogs that time
back strong. Race to the corner. Perez saves the rebound. Possession continues and throws one that is up and into the scorer's table, nearly into us. And the Bulldogs will be able to maintain possession as it's tipped right here. 150 throwing free throw line. Jumps a pass left corner that is stolen away by a racing Harrison, who's fouled behind by McKellar to stop the break. That
is now back-to-back possessions have tried to get out and run a little bit. Got the easy basket from Berkey just a minute ago, and now got another turnover, and we're looking to run.
A little bit of work into the paint. She's got 4, leads all scorers. It's 10-4 Grand Haven. Good start, a lot better start in this one for the Bucks than the last time they played.
And nice move in the middle of the lane from